I do want to get to that World Series in '83 with our old buddy there, Cal Ripken. We haven't talked to Cal in a long time. He has disappeared from the high heat stage, but now he gets a chance to give us his expertise. Cal, welcome. Let's start in '82. Rookie of the Year, you join the Orioles, and Earl Weaver is the manager, and you've been there for 14 years. That's a pressure spot. Give me a little rundown. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I looked at the current Orioles and I felt for them in the moment where they're 22, 23 years old, and all of a sudden you're cast into the playoffs and then cast into the World Series, and you feel like Superman. You feel like you can do anything, and you try really hard, and you want to be the guy in those situations. But learning how to control yourselves in those high-pressure situations, I found was the key. But, Earl was intimidating in some ways. He actually in other ways, he put his arm around me and made me feel, really good. He was the one that actually put me at shortstop, and he's the one that paid me one of the greatest compliments by saying if I would have moved Cal to shortstop, a little bit earlier in '82, we might have had that opportunity to go to the World Series in that year too.
Interesting. In '82 there, of course, we just see Ripken. We see Weaver getting caught, basically feted as the game is over. And that's a weird scenario because the Orioles were down by 3-4 games. You had won the first 3 games of that series with Milwaukee to tie them. The Sunday game in '82 was on ABC. Yount, the MVP, hit 2 home runs. You ended up losing to Don Sutton. You're in the infield, and there's Weaver basically saying goodbye. That's a weird day in Baltimore history. Give me some rundowns on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You're right. We were 3 games out with 4 to play, all at home. We had a doubleheader Friday night, blew Milwaukee out both games of the doubleheader, beat them convincingly on Saturday. So now we're dead tied. We have Palmer, who hadn't lost a game in 14 or 15 games. You had Don Sutton that they got in a trade, a premier matchup. We felt like we were in control. But Robin Yount, the MVP of that year, hit 2 bombs off of Jim Palmer, if I remember right. And Ben Ogilvy made this great catch down the line. That wasn't a great catch right there, but he slid and made a great catch at a key moment in the game that we could have scored a couple runs. So Milwaukee ended up winning. And we watched that celebration. I mean, I watched it because I was curious. I was a little disappointed. But it gave me extra motivation during the offseason. I think it gave our team a chance to say, where could we have made up that one game that we fell short? And we got off to a great start the next year in '83. Minus Earl Weaver, but the smartest thing Joe Altobelli did was leave that team intact. And when he left it intact, we just continued and played, and we ran away with the division that year and then went through the playoffs and on to the World Series. So I think losing in '82 really helped me personally with the perspective and really the motivation and desire to go.
I know, I know you're a good sports fan. It reminds me a little bit with Altobelli, the 49ers when Walsh quit. They brought Seifert in, and he wins his first Super Bowl. Niners wanted to prove they weren't about Bill Walsh. The Orioles let Weaver leaves. They bring Altobelli in, who was in Rochester, and you win the whole thing. Whereas a little bit of that dynamic in the Oriole clubhouse to prove we're not necessarily about the manager. We'll win for Altobelli. How about that? Let me hear.
Well, I mean, I'll take it one step further. I mean, after all these years, I thought my dad was in line for that job, in '82. He was right there with Earl. He was Earl's right-hand guy. Joe Altobelli had some experience because he went away and managed the San Francisco Giants, and they brought him back at the time. But again, Joe's a good baseball guy. I wish that my dad would have had a chance to jump in, and take that team that was right there on the verge of winning. But Joe's a smart guy, and Joe understood that the nucleus of that team was formed. And I think he just got out of the way and let us all play. And it wasn't a matter of proving whether the manager was great or manager was not great. It was all of us as a group. And Joe didn't try to put his imprint on the team. He just let that team roll. And with Eddie and Singy and Bumbry, we had good veteran leadership on there. And then I was able to blossom in the position of shortstop as well. So it was a fantastic team.
It really was. You had a great year, and obviously the World Series, you won 3 games in Philadelphia. People don't realize in a best-of-5 against the White Sox, you guys lost Game 1. and you had Boddicker go out there in Game 2. So your postseason could have ended a little quicker if Boddicker didn't pitch that great game in Game 2 against the White Sox after Lamar Hoyt beat you in Game 1. And then, of course, same thing in the World Series. Phillies win the first game and you win 4 straight. So in the playoffs that year, you lost Game 1 both times, World Series included, and then swept. Give me some thoughts on that, Cal. Let me hear.
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox series was the one that was so close. I mean, we were evenly matched. We had a rivalry going through that time. I joked with Tony La Russa saying, "You didn't get Lamar Hoyt back to the game in that short series." But Lamar was the Cy Young that year. We couldn't muster any offense off him. I think I got a jam single in the ninth to make it 2-1 in that first game. But we rebounded, and I think Boddicker was the key piece. He came in for Flanagan, pitched really well, got hot in the playoffs. The White Sox couldn't hit Bod. The Phillies couldn't hit Bod either. So he just went on and he filled in, and he gave us that momentum that we needed to get past those first 2 games. But you're right, it's not ideal when you lose the first game of the series, in a shorter series, 3 out of 5. But we rebounded, and it was a really close time. And the White Sox could have very easily got a base hit, or they made a base running mistake in the 1 inning in that clinching game that they could have got over the hump too as well. But losing that first game, it didn't affect us too much. We just pushed forward and said, okay, we're a good team. And then we got rolling.
And Tito Landrum hit that home run in Game 4 at Comiskey Park, and I believe Bob Costas was on the call of that game, if I'm not mistaken, with Britt Burns pitching against the Orioles. When you won that World Series, Cal, you probably thought, you know what, I'll be back here 9 million times. I'm a young kid. This is the Orioles, a proud franchise, and you got close, but never again. Thoughts on that for a sec? Let me hear. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly right. Early in my career, I was Rookie of the Year the first year. We went to the last day of the season and didn't quite make the playoffs. One of the most exciting series that I played in. The next year, we get off to a good start. I find my rhythm. I was voted the MVP, and we win the World Series. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going to happen all the time. But I guess my advice to having gone through it, we came back in 96 and 97, and we're really close to get to the World Series. But you gotta grasp every moment in these playoffs, and because it's not easy to get back. It's not easy to win the World Series, and you gotta grasp hold of that and try to be in that moment as best you can, because this might be your only chance. I feel lucky to have felt that feeling. All people that play the game want to know what it feels like to win the World Series. We were champions of the world. I know that feeling, but God, I wish I would have had a chance to be Derek Jeter or Chipper Jones, where a bad year for them was losing in the first round of the playoffs. But having gone through the other side, losing and being part of a rebuilding process really makes you appreciate when you have a special team and you're playing well. You want to capitalize on that moment.
Excellent job, Cal. Loved it. Keep up the great work. Good to talk to you again. Appreciate you coming on today. Ed class, always, as usual. Thanks a lot.
Okay, you're quite welcome.